Hello everybody, so welcome to another video, and what I thought I'd cover today is the Python zip function and why it's not always a good idea to use it when you're web scraping, particularly if you're scraping columns of data and columns where you may not be getting values and missing values. So without further ado, let's just move this out of the way. I just want to start with showing you an example of why this can be a problem. So what I'm going to do, I've already prepared 3 lists. Now, assume you were scraping, for instance, a website where you were doing web scraping with maybe Beautiful Soup, Scrapey, and you were getting all of the results from any given column. So if we have a column and it's called driver, we've got 4 driver names. So we'd have a column called driver, 4 rows. Next, I'm pasting this in because it's just boring to watch me type it. Then you may have team, and team may only have 3 rows, or it may have row 1, row 2, row 3 might be blank, then you have row 4. You're only getting 3 values back. This will come to bite you later on with your code. So let's just put in something else now. We'll go for 4 again. So you'd have a 3rd column, and this column 4 rows again, so you've got 4 rows for each of those, but this one you've also got 4 values. So team is the odd one out. And demonstrate the use of zip. So Python zip. So what we're going to do is, if we say, I'll just say ls for a list equals, when you're using zip, it's returns a list object. So you say a zip driver, go team, and then we'll say nationality. We're going to zip those 3 columns together. So what you want it to be doing is matching the first item in each list, the second item in each list, third item in each list, 4th item. But you can probably guess what the problem is going to be. So if we just do print ls and run the code. My mistake, list. That's just returned a list object. To actually see the list, you need to just put list in front as well. So run it again. And there we go. We've got, if you see down here, it's slightly big. That font better? Hopefully. What we've got now is it's returned a list. And in a list, we've got, so there's 1 comma, 2 commas. So 2 commas means we've got 3 list items. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. You can see what it's done is it's matched up signs with Williams with ES. So it's taken the third item from each list and it's paired them up. Well, not paired, it's whatever the 3 is for pair. And then we're left, it omits the 4th item. So we've got 4 here and we've got 4 here. So it leaves that out, which is not good. And also you can see signs should be, well, signs is actually would be Ferrari, but we don't know that, but that's what our source web page would have said. So if we just clear that, clear output, and let's just tidy this up a bit and make it move it. So we'll just park that up here. And what we'll do now is I'll show you the other way of formatting it. So if I format this out actually. What we're doing now is I'm just going to paste in, if we'd extracted it using Scrapey or Beautiful Soup, but instead of doing get all on each column, don't use get all on a column. What you do is you extract each key per row. So if I'm just, this is what we wanted to have seen. And had we got that instead of 3, so here we've got a list for dictionaries, a list of dictionaries, whereas above we just had 3 lists. So let's just demonstrate this, and I'm not going to write an entire spider just to demonstrate it, and also I'd probably then go and struggle to find a site that had the missing data. So I'm sure you're all familiar with scraping sites where there are several columns, many rows, but by the time you get to the end, you've got 82 values in column A, 81 values in column B, and 82 values in row C. So yeah, and wherever the missing value is, if it's halfway up, it'll put all of your data out for the rest of that column. So if you had a missing value on the second row, it would make all the data in row B incorrect thereafter. It would be out by 1. So what we'll do instead is I'm just going to say, I'm going to write, I'm going to create a new variable to represent a list, which is going to be all drivers, just an empty list. Then next, what I'm going to say is, what I'm going to use is enumerate. So I'll say for idx, which is your index, n, in enumerate drivers. So this is racing drivers, not computer drivers, not video drivers, graphics drivers. Then DC equals, so I'm going to create an empty dictionary. Now, when I first ever did this, I put the dictionary outside of the for loop as well. If you ever do that, you'll just keep overwriting the dictionary each time. Then when you go to print it, you'll just find that you've just got one dictionary. One list is fine on line 16 because you want one list. You want many dictionaries. So dictionary has to be created within the for loop. Yeah, just a little tip from a bitter experience there. So I'm going to be naughty and I'm just going to say driver because I know the value exists. So there we say, so I'm going to set a key for the DC dictionary. I'm just going to call it, again, I'm going to call it the same, so I'm going to call it driver, equals drivers, and I'm going to extract from the current iteration, so that'll be, first time round it'll be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. And then I'm going to actually extract the value of the driver key. So I will be getting value on my first iteration. And then we can actually repeat that for the other key. Well, and then that with what theme and nationality. Okay, so then the next thing to do is actually create the list, well, actually append to the list. So I'm going to say all drivers append, and then DC. So I'm going to append. So I've collected these 3 keys and values, and then I'm going to append those 3 keys and values to my empty dictionary. So then I'm going to pass my newly populated dictionary. I'm going to actually append that to my list called all drivers, which is what at the end of this I will then print out. So if I do print all, oh, I don't know what happened there. Did I press something? Is that a keyboard? I don't know. All drivers, and actually, if I print type is when you've got lists and dictionaries together, it's always a good idea to actually just print the type of it, just to check whether you're definitely dealing with the right data type. There we see yes, so we've got a list. Good, because we wanted a list, and to be honest, we can see it's a list there. So we have a list of 1, 2, I can see it's 3 and 4, so it's all going off the edge of the page, but that's all right. What I've done there is, hopefully you've noticed really that by using a list of dictionaries, we can maintain the integrity of the data because we are keeping the keys and the values paired up. If you use 3 lists made from 3 columns, if any of those columns has a value missing, it will just, you're going to end up with messy data. It's actually easier to do than it is to explain. Well, it is if you're me and you're not, I don't know, am I being modest? I'm not great at explaining things. But so next, if we do import pandas, and this is the nice bit at the end, because it's actually really easy, because all you need to do is import pandas as PD. And then all you need to do is just say df equals pd.dataframe. Yeah. And then you just make a data frame from that list, which is, how good is that? And then you just do, because I'm doing it from within VS Code and I'm not doing it from pandas, I just need to print it. So if you're ready, let's run it. And we've done it. We have a data frame, driver, team, nationality, Hamilton, Mercedes, GB, Leclerc, Ferrari, France, Silence, Ferrari, Spain, Russell, Williams, GB. So we've maintained the integrity of the data by using one dictionary for each row, and that's really important. If you're web scraping, don't do get all and get all from a single column. That's bad. You'll end up with messy data, as I hopefully as I demonstrated up there, because what we ended up with was, if you use zip, you'll end up only with as many rows as the shortest list length. That's the shortest length of list. So there, the shortest length list was 3. So we ended up with 3 drivers, 3 teams, 3 nationalities, and we had the missing 4th driver and the missing 4th nationality. So yeah, but this is really useful, and it's not always, you might not guess this because you'd think, oh well, pandas uses a dictionary, so you need to pass a dictionary to pandas or a CSV. But here, what I actually did was pass it a list. All drivers equals square brackets. Then we append the dictionary to the list. I printed it just for our benefit. I checked the type, it was class list. So then we just pass that list to pandas data frame, and yeah, it created us a data frame. So yeah, if I'd done this in Jupyter, we'd have a nice fancy data frame, really pretty. But I just thought I'd do this in VS Code and just yeah, show you it all done from scratch, so to speak. So yeah, hopefully this is one of those things that if you've learned about zip, you may think, oh wow, zip, that's really cool, I'm going to use that. And unless you've got 2 columns or more with an identical number of values, and you're guaranteed that there are no missing values in any of those columns, then then do not use zip. That's the whole point of this video. Do not use zip if there's ever a chance that there will be any data missing anywhere. And really, dictionaries are just more powerful, more flexible. Just as and where you can, use a dictionary. If it's more appropriate to use a list, use a list. And also, as you see, you can use a list with pandas, so no problems there. But just try not to use a list. Zip. Zip, list, dictionary. Okay, so dictionary good, list good, zip bad. And in the overall scheme of things, try and use a dictionary because it'll protect your data, it'll keep your keys and your values together. Once you start splitting your data into lists, a list for each column, then it goes bad. So zip, bad, dictionary good, and lists, yeah, good most of the time. Just don't use lists unzipped together when you've got multiple columns with data. So yeah, thanks for watching. let me know if you'd like some more stuff like this, or if you would like me to go back to doing more scrapey videos. If you've not seen the Code Monkey King and the Dr. Pi video series, then I'd encourage you to watch those. Really, I think, as I mentioned to Code Monkey King, we spent 2 hours talking about all sorts, but really, that was the video that I'd wish I had seen several years ago when I really started getting into writing code. And yeah, and also, I don't know, if you struggle to get to sleep, just put it on in the background, turn the volume down, and you've got 2 hours worth of really nice bedtime story. Yeah, anyway, yeah, don't forget to subscribe. It's really important to subscribe and all that, because algos. Yeah, thanks for